The Haunting of Carilla, a tale of love, betrayal, and ghostly revenge. A story you won't forget. Imagine marrying a man you barely know, moving into a grand estate, and discovering that his past is shrouded in mystery. What if the ghost of his former wife is still lurking, watching, and waiting? This is the story of a young woman caught between love, death, and the supernatural. It's a chilling tale of fate, betrayal, and eerie encounters that will leave you questioning what is real. Stay with me as we unravel the mystery of Carilla, a house haunted by secrets and sorrow. A childhood of isolation. I was born into a wealthy family in Tyrone, Ireland. Unlike what most would assume, wealth didn't bring happiness. My parents wanted a son, and my existence was merely tolerated. My older sister was the only one who showed me love, but she was 6 years older and married off when I was just 12. I remember her wedding day, the laughter, the music, the celebration. Yet, deep inside, I felt nothing but sorrow. My sister, my only ally, was leaving. A year after her marriage, we received a letter from her husband, Mr. Carew. My sister was ill, and she wished to return home. The thought of seeing her again filled me with both joy and worry. We waited for her arrival, but instead of a warm reunion, we were met with something chilling. A ghostly wail in the night. The next morning, we learned that my sister had died at the exact moment we heard the cries outside our home. Grief consumed me. I spent years in sorrow, barely speaking, barely living. Meanwhile, my sister's husband remarried quickly, and I resented him for it. Could love be so easily replaced? Marriage without love. By the time I turned 16, my mother had one goal: marriage. Suitors came and went, but I found none appealing. I was too young to wed, yet my opinions didn't matter. My mother took me to Dublin, where we would supposedly find better men. And there I met Lord Glenfallen. First, I thought nothing of him. He was older, serious, and reserved. But he was kind to me, and in my lonely world, that was enough. He spoke of books, philosophy, and history. I didn't love him, but I liked him. That was enough to say yes. We married in the spring and left Tyrone for Carilla, his vast and beautiful estate. As we arrived, I felt a surge of hope. The gardens were lush, birds sang in the trees, and the house itself was grand. Perhaps this would be a fresh start. Little did I know, Carilla held secrets that would soon unravel my entire world. A warning and an omen. On our first night, Martha, the old housekeeper, showed me to my room. As she opened the door, a chill ran down my spine. There, standing motionless, was a black coat. But no one was inside it. Martha turned pale. "Something bad is going to happen," she whispered. She told me of an old legend. Whenever the black coat appeared, misfortune followed. Years ago, she saw it as a child, and the next morning, the previous Lord Glenfallen was found dead. Was this a mere superstition, or was the house truly cursed? The next morning, my husband took my hands and looked at me with a seriousness I had never seen before. "Promise me something, Fanny," he said. "Never go into the rooms at the back of the house. Never step into the small garden behind the house." "Why?" He refused to answer. The blind woman in black. A month passed, and curiosity gnawed at me. One afternoon, I rushed to my room to grab my coat before a walk. But as I opened the door, I froze. A woman sat by the fireplace. Her skin was pale and her eyes were white. She was blind. "This is my room," I said, trying to remain calm. She smirked. "Your room? No, child. There is no mistake. I belong here. Who are you?" I asked, heart pounding. "Tell Lord Glenfallen that I want him," she said coldly. I ran from the room, calling for my husband. When he arrived, the blind woman slapped me across the face and screamed, "You are not Lady Glenfallen." The moment my husband entered, her expression changed. He dragged her away and refused to answer my questions. But his face told me everything. He was terrified. Who was she, and why did she claim to be his wife? Unveiling the horrifying truth. Unable to get answers from my husband, I turned to Martha, and what she told me made my blood run cold. She was Lady Glenfallen, Martha whispered. Your husband's first wife. The woman in black. She's dead. And you saw her ghost. Couldn't breathe. Martha continued. No one knows how she died. But we do know this. On the night she was found, someone had cut out her eyes. Did my husband? I stammered. Martha hesitated. He was found holding a knife that night. But no one knows the truth. Maybe he wanted her gone. Maybe he feared she would see his next wife, you. That night, I locked my door and barely slept. But it didn't matter. She came anyway. I woke to find the blind woman at the foot of my bed, holding a knife. If you wish to live, she whispered, you must leave this house tomorrow, or I will kill you. The escape and the final warning. At dawn, I confronted my husband. She told me she's your wife. She said I am not. His face turned white. Don't listen to her. You are my wife. She is gone. But I could see the fear in his eyes. He was lying. That was the moment I knew I had to leave. I packed my things and fled Kurilla, never looking back. My parents welcomed me home, and for the first time, they treated me with warmth. But my story didn't end there. My sister's ghost came to me in my dreams. She warned me that the blind woman was still searching for me, waiting for another Lady Glenfallen to take my place. Somewhere, another woman would enter Kurilla, unaware of its curse. And when she did, the ghost would be waiting. Final lesson: the power of the past. This story is more than just a ghost tale. It's about the power of the past, the way secrets never stay buried and how the dead sometimes refuse to rest. Kurilla's haunting teaches us that truth, no matter how deeply hidden, always finds a way to rise. So tell me, what do you believe? Was it guilt, madness, or something truly supernatural? Let's discuss it in the comments below.